Thank you for joining me again, joining me on my channel. Today, I want to talk about the angry black woman. I really don't like that topic. I really don't like what the message that's putting out in the world about black women. So I'm going to talk about it today. But first of all, I want to add to your spiritual garden, just something to add to it, something that you could kind of nourish it, and something that you could feed on when you really need it. And that is from Romans 12:12. And it says, do not be conformed to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will, his good, pleasing, and perfect will. And so we know that with God, that he has a will for our life. And then we also know that we are not to conform to the patterns of this world. And in saying that, I just want to move on. I don't like this whole idea of the angry black woman. I really don't feel that we're angry. I feel that there's something else going on, and we need to understand where that comes from. And first of all, when we're thinking about angry black woman, when we're thinking angry, what are we actually thinking about? What does that actually mean? Does that mean that she is grieving? Does that mean that we're saying she has went through trauma? Okay, what does that mean when they say that us black women are angry? Or is it just a matter of that we have strong opinions? Have you ever thought about that? That we just had a strong opinions and we have a strong way of communicating. Okay, and you know what? That comes from someplace that we're just not meek and humble, and we're not like that, but we have a very big, some of us very big, pronounced personalities, and we're bold in our words and bold in our mannerisms. And I want you to really understand, if you are not African American and you're listening to this, that we come from a very different place than many other cultures. If you were to put us in a room at a round table, and you will have an Asian woman there, a Hispanic woman, a Caucasian woman there, and we will all talk. We will probably be maybe even saying the same thing, but we will be saying it differently. We have our own flavor. And in us as African American women, remember, we have experienced just so much more. I know that other cultures have their own set of problems. I do understand that. But I refuse to believe no one's journey is as rough and isn't as just unfair as the African American culture. And that's something that we've seen all our life. And ever since, we were uprooted from the motherland, and brought here, away from our families and beaten and sold and treated like animals. And so that is a history that we've had. And that does uh, trickle down into what our culture is today. Remnants of that is still apparent in our culture. Okay, so when I think about when I hear the angry black woman, I think about what is it that will actually be mistaken as being angry, and how could that be looked at in a different way? Don't forget, we're renewing our mind, right? So yeah, let's think about that. Is it that we know it's systemic racism? We know that constantly being showed that you're not enough, and that some way you don't fit into this nation. You don't fit in right here. So yeah, just think about going through that every day, going through that at work, going through that even going to the store. Systemic racism that's embedded. Not only are our black brothers experiencing that, but also we are too, as women. We can't get away from it. It's right there in our faces every day, boldly in our faces, not even being hidden. Okay, think about that. Also, we have the self esteem. Just think, we are beautiful black women, And we are fearfully and wonderfully made. We know that. But we're looking at TV and we're shown all these images that don't even look like us. So we're not celebrated like that. And you know what? When I think about the other cultures too, at the magnitude of the Caucasian woman, that they also are not celebrated as much. But times have changed and it's gotten much better. We're seeing more of a beautiful brown women on TV more. We see more Asian women, more Latino women on TV now, which is beautiful and wonderful. Just to show, that everybody has something special and beauty could come in all different forms. But just think about a young black girl. She's not seeing that too much on TV. So she's not that whole self image, unless it's expressed healthily in her household and expressed by her mother or her father, and she's getting all that affirmation from them, and not and so she has that. But if she's depending on the outside, the social media, she might not be getting that nurturing that she needs. Okay, so self esteem has a lot to do with it. Not feeling good about ourselves. Education. Now, we know everybody don't have the opportunity or don't feel the same about education, but one thing we do know is that when you go to school and you get a higher education, that your chances of getting a better, well-paying job is more possible. It is. Not saying that you will make a whole lot of money. Believe me, I'm a teacher. But you can actually be able to maybe sustain yourself better by having getting skills and getting an expertise in a certain subject or in a certain concept, and that's all there is. It's just getting more knowledge about something that you could be able to use in the world. So education, her not having enough education to be able to take care of herself and take care of her children, that's very frustrating. That's very frustrating not to be able to do that. And since I mentioned that, I'm going to give you a statistic, and that is in 2019, four 4.15 million black families in the United States was headed by a single mother. We have a lot of single mothers out there. And so when we talk about that, we also see that it's a breakdown in relationships. It's a breakdown in the family. And that's very hard and very difficult to deal with in order to bring children up and be able to sustain your household and buy food and keep the lights on and just simple things like that. And so I can imagine how frustrated that can be when you're trying to navigate and manage all these things and you're not getting the support that you need. When I think about our motherland and I think about the customs, and I've read about this before, there was just a very, it's valued, the community was valued where it took a village to raise a child. So you had everybody raising each other's children, and you had everyone there sharing and being together. And of course, we were uprooted from that standard of living, and we don't have that anymore. We don't have that where we're looking out for each other's children, and we're helping each other. And even some families are not even helping people in their families. We're just not doing that anymore. So I can imagine how that will feel for a single mother, not getting that support from the community, not getting that support from her family, in raising her children for whatever reason that is. And so let's keep that in mind. Remember, we're renewing our mind. So we need to look at that whole concept. What is the angry black woman? She's not angry. She's not angry. She's frustrated. Look at all these things that she has to deal with. Okay. Also, trauma. No, subjected to violence. Now, this is another statistic I want to share with you. Black women experience domestic violence at rates 30 to 50% higher than white women. And so we're experiencing violence, and that's sad. I can imagine that as well. I haven't personally went through a domestic violence, but I could only imagine how that could just beat you up inside. It just break you up inside. And if you have these other issues compounded on top of that with the low self esteem, of course, violence would do that. And then systemic racism. Not only are you being beat down, but society is looking at you like you don't matter. Why are you here? They're not putting any value on you, value on your life, right? So yeah, let's think about that as well. A distrust. Of course, I've heard a lot. Oh, black women, they don't trust. If you have been broken, if you have been betrayed, if you've been hurt, of course it takes time for you to trust again. Of course it does. And so we need to think about that. And that goes from any woman. That goes for anyone, period. It takes time, which tells me that there's a healing process that needs to take place. And a lot of times we don't know how to heal. We don't know the first thing to do. And so we keep it inside. And with that inside, it festers inside of us. And it comes out as looking like anger. But all it is just brokenness inside. And so we need to look at our mental health in a different way. We need to look at going out and getting therapy in a different way, or to talk to someone in a different way, so that we could be able to deal with things that's going on inside of us by being hurt and broken numerous times. And a lot of women have experienced that. So that goes back to that takes a village. We don't even have a village anymore to grab that sister and say, "Come on, come over here. Let's talk about this. I got you. Let's see what we can do to help you." And so that's why the church is so important. That's why women of wisdom, we're important, so that we could be able to be there for someone, even if we no one was there for us. We know how that feels. And so to be there for someone and to help them in their life journey. Okay. Also, we know that a lot of black women, we keep our guard up. We have to. We have to keep that guard up so we can protect our heart. Because if our heart has been broken, there we are, single parent, take care of these children by ourselves, not having the support of our family, not having the support that what we really need. And yeah, it's a distrust. So yeah, it just takes a lot to be able to go through that and just really stand up through all of this, because it could cripple you. It really can. And even though we keep going, we're keeping, you see her, she has her super cape on. She's taking care of those kids. She's putting the food on the table, buying them uniforms, and just doing the Jordans they want for Christmas, putting it all together. But inside, is she doing okay? And we know sometimes she's not, because let's go to that cashier who, we come up there and she has just a bad attitude, a nasty attitude. And the first thing we say, all black women are angry. But we don't know what that sister is going through. We don't know when she goes home and she's experienced domestic violence, that she has 2 or 3 kids that she's trying to feed. How does she feel about herself? How's her self esteem? We don't know. So let's look at that differently. Let's look at when we hear the angry black woman. She's not angry. She's broken. She's broken. And so she just needs help. And we all do, because none of us is walking around whole. None of us are. Okay, we've all experienced in the peaks and valleys in life and the disappointments in life. But I've always said that through God, all things is possible. And I feel that when you pray and you really commit yourself and to build a relationship with God, that He will sustain you. He will help you. And I just believe that. But we sometimes we don't know how to call out to God. We don't know how to do that. And so let's help lift someone up. Let's help lift someone up if we see someone going through. If we see a single mother's going through, if she looks like she's angry. I've seen them more than once. I've seen them in grocery stores. I've seen it just seems like it's just so much on their shoulders. And they might seem like they're strong, but they're really not. And that's why they have to have that exterior. They have to show that they're really bold and they brassy. But in actuality, they're really broken inside. And that's just the way they survive. They have to do that so that they could survive. And so let's keep that in mind when we talk about and when we see or hear about the angry black woman. She's not angry. She's not angry at all. And let's do whatever we can to uplift the sister if we see someone that we can kind of approach, because sometimes they could be kind of pretty. Yeah, but let's see if we could reach out to them. Let's keep in mind the women in history who had so much on their shoulders as well. I often talk about Harriet Tubman, Sojourner Truth, Ella Baker, Rosa Parks, Shirley Chisholm. Okay, we have so many women who were just doing some amazing things in our history, and we need to pull strength from them because they had a lot to be angry about. The injustices that even that we have today, just think they were just more pronounced during that time. And so it's just so important for us to remember them and remember what they had to endure and what they did, and that we're reaping the benefits of it now. That it doesn't seem like it, but we are. We're reaping some benefits of their struggle and what they set out to do. So let's keep that in mind. And happy Black History Month. I feel we should celebrate it every month. But I just like to just sometimes wear my hair wraps and wear my shells and just to give honor to our ancestors, to give honor to the people who just paved the way for us to have so much right now. And it's just been amazing what they've done for very little resources, very little. We have much more than they had, but they were able to just push through and break through those barriers and be trailblazers. And so yeah, I thank them for that. I do. And then I want to just end this. So I don't know what I'm thinking about. I just want to end this YouTube video by speaking a blessing over you. Thank you for joining me. Thank you. And let's not talk about a black woman being angry. Let's just talk about her just going through this life journey and just trying to just manage, just trying to get through and just trying to be just whole again. Sometimes she doesn't know what to do and know how to do it. Okay. So, yeah, I want to pray this over you today. Thank you for joining me again. Don't forget my book. Oh, I don't have it again. Oh, here it is. Standing Inside Myself, a journey of self love, wisdom, power, and purpose. And you can get this from Amazon. And I encourage you, please get it or get it for someone who you feel is going through. Give it to them as a gift. Okay. So, yeah. Support a sister. And then also, you could go to my podcast. My podcast is a Beautifully Seasoned, and that is on Spotify and it's on a lot of other different platforms. Just put up Beautifully Seasoned. And then also I have a website, www.beautifullyseasoned.com. I have a lot of articles on there, including some Black History articles, positive affirmations, and other articles too. So yeah, check that out as well. And then I do have a girls app, and it's called Mind Charms, and it's for girls ages 7 to 12, and it's available on Android and iPhones for free. Okay. So yeah, I want to end this podcast by saying you are blessed, prosperous, redeemed, forgiven, talented, creative, confident, secure, disciplined, focused, prepared, qualified, motivated, valuable, free, determined, equipped, empowered, anointed, accepted, and approved. Not average, not mediocre. You are a child of the Most High God, and you will be all you was created to be in Jesus' name. Oh, yes, I thank you. And don't forget, you are fearfully and wonderfully made, sisters. You are beautifully seasoned, and we're going to rid that whole myth about an angry black woman because we're not angry. We're going to be all right. Okay. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope to talk to you next time. Okay. Bye bye.